Hello, everyone. This is the Portals 2024 Juror Talk. I am Amani Freeman, the Exhibitions Manager for the Maryland Federation of Art, and I'm joined here today with Ms. Giulia Livi. Giulia Pierre Livi is an interdisciplinary artist working in painting and installation. Her immersive rooms employ hyper-cohesive color and abstract forms to work out ideas of multifunctional art objects in curated domesticity. She has exhibited both nationally and internationally with notable shows at the Delaware Contemporary Museum in Wilmington, Delaware, the Museum of Contemporary Arts in Arlington, Virginia, Tiger Stripes Asteroid in Brooklyn, New York, Governor's Island Art Fair in New York as well, Untitled Art Space in New York, New York, Mono Practice in Baltimore, Maryland, guest spots at the Re-Institute in Baltimore, Maryland as well, the Dream Clinic in Columbus, Ohio, the VAE Gallery in Raleigh, North Carolina, and the Walter Otro Contemporary Art in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Julia was granted fellowships to complete residencies at the Virginia Center for Creative Arts in 2023 and the Vermont Studio Center in 2018. She received an Individual Artist Award from the Maryland State Arts Council in 2019, a Trawick Young Artist Prize from the Bethesda Contemporary Art Awards in 2017, and was included in issue 148 of New American Paintings. Julia is currently a part-time faculty at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York, and MICA in Baltimore, Maryland.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amani. I was very excited to jury this exhibition for the Maryland Federation of Art, and I was interested in seeing some of the other work that's happening in the Maryland region outside of Baltimore and within Baltimore City too. When putting together the works for the show, I was particularly interested in the idea of impact and innovation. So each of the artists are bringing their unique take on the idea of the portal. And I say unique because within the work that was presented or submitted for the show, I saw a lot of takes on the portal, which were very exciting and in my thoughts quite innovative. Thinking not just as a portal as a doorway or a window, but how we can view the portal beyond the architectural openings and begin to build meaning through that metaphor, and particularly through material. I was interested in the portal as a responsiveness or an openness to new experiences. So the work that I put together for the show included observational realism all the way through pure abstraction, and a lot of work that sort of floats in between those two spaces or ideas. Because of my background and my own curatorial vision, a lot of emphasis was put on material and materiality, artists who are using sometimes interesting materials or diverse materials, mixed media, and also artists who are masters of their particular medium. Outside of curatorial work, I'm also faculty at Pratt and at MICA. And I think that the things that I teach also play a huge role in the way in which I put together exhibitions. And that was certainly evident within this show. What I teach at Pratt is color theory. So I'm always interested in work that approaches color in a new and interesting way, or is very thoughtful or intentional about color. And at MICA, I teach within general fine arts, which is an idea-driven major where students are not limited to material, rather they let their idea or their concept guide them. And our faculty have to work to sort of build whatever skills the students need so that they can create the projects that they want to create. And so that idea of an idea-driven artwork is something that I think I was considering during this jury process as well. And you'll notice as you view the show that I did intentionally include 2 works per artist to showcase not just highlighting specific works that I thought were really successful, but feeling like the artists who were selected for the show were selected not just for their one work, but for their overall breadth of work as an artist or a maker in this Maryland region. And so, yeah, it's nice to see not just one piece, but also sort of see the direction of someone's practice and how it fits into the overall theme of the show. First, we have Wen's really amazing accordion book. I was interested in this piece really because of the material. Wen submitted multiple images of one mixed media book that included collage and photography. I also was particularly interested in the use of the stitching. It looks to me like it is machine stitched, but that the artist is allowing the machine to sort of take hold and letting those stitches sort of free flow around the composition. And it was this use of layered shape, the stitch as sort of like a drawing material, layered in with other media and with photography, that I think really made an impact on me. This image in particular also has some color sensitivity in the way that the photo was transferred onto the fiber background. And so I thought this was a really beautiful interpretation of the prompt for the show. Next, we have John Mayer, who is working in photography. Now, I am not a photo person, so whenever I'm viewing photography, I'm easily seduced by the image at hand. And I think Mayer is a really good example of that sort of like immediate seduction. Within this image here, we see multiple portals, and we also see multiple protagonists. Which shifts our gaze around the image. It's complex to view the central figure as the subject, but also the figure in the background, and then the one figure which is making eye contact with us, the viewer, on the left-hand side. And so we're sort of continually looking at these different framings, mirror, doorway, image, and all of these portals are sort of taking place on one picture plane, which I thought was interesting. After reading the artist's statement on Mayer's website, I found that these images were linked to their work in psychiatry and psychoanalysis. And so I thought this was a really interesting view into the idea of the portal. And our last honorable mention is Lisa McKnight. As I mentioned before, I was thinking about obviously honoring artists who were ambitious with their use of materials, but also artists who are masters of one particular medium. And I think Lisa's work is a great example of that. Watercolor is a very, very difficult media to master. And I think this is a really beautiful painting that we see on paper. It's a small piece, so you can imagine how just at 8 by 8 inches, imagine how much small brushwork went into creating the texture of the concrete around this small puddle of water, which gives us a view into the sky above. So I was very excited by this technical ability and want to congratulate Lisa on this painting. Okay, and now we move on to our placed awards. At third place, I put Elizabeth Kendall for these porcelain sculptures. What I really love about this work is that it has a focus on form and movement. So rather than interpreting the portal super literally, Kendall was thinking about the way in which things are balanced and how these sculptures, because they are sort of resting on top of themselves, these are not glued or adhered together. I would imagine that each time that this sculpture is put in place in a particular gallery or domestic setting, that it changes a little bit. And I thought that ever so slight shift in what these sculptures could be was very exciting and interesting. It reminds me of the work of Jay Coe, another regional artist who works in paper that I really adore. And so I was excited by these forms and was happy to place Kendall at third place in the show. Second place, we have Cindy Mayer for this piece, Metamorphosis. Cindy was working in color, which was very exciting. I'm always a bit hesitant with this high contrast between black and white and color, but I think that Cindy does it quite successfully here. These works are abstract, and from reading the artist statement that accompanied this piece and her other painting, I saw that there were these marks were emerging from spontaneity, so allowing paint to drip on the canvas and then responding to those marks and building out the space. Now, I really think that this merger of spontaneity with the formal geometric patterns in the backgrounds is very interesting, and I see it being done here in a way that I don't always see. Sometimes the work is creating dimension that moves really, really far back in space. Sometimes there's this like supposed flatness, which speaks a little bit to like the history of non-Western perspective. And so I thought that these works were very exciting, very interesting, appraised in mixed media using both oil and spray paint. And then finally, for first place, we have Deborah Perlman. And of course, we're seeing some very exciting mixed media here. I, as a multidisciplinary artist, am always excited by works that push the boundaries of material and use material or subject in a new and interesting way. So here we see a piece that involves paper, plastic, wire mesh, and aluminum wire. And this layer of material creates something that is sort of in between 2D and 3D space. The viewer is drawn into this centralized pathway, which feels very architectural with a focus on dimensionality, but there's something abstract and whimsical about it as well. Within Deborah's statement, she says, "My abstract geometric wall sculptures blur the line between reality and imagination, unraveling mysteries and exploring the unknown." And I think this statement, along with the works that I included in the show for Deborah, really pulled together everything that I was thinking about when I approached the subject of Portal from a curatorial standpoint. So I want to commend Deborah for this incredible work, and I'm very excited to have it be placed first in the show. So I hope everyone enjoys looking through all of the work that was included in the exhibition. Again, you'll get to see multiple works for artists to hopefully get familiar with the practices that are a brew in the region. And thank you again to Amani for allowing me to put this show together.
Yeah, on behalf of the Maryland Federation of Arts and myself, I just want to thank you so much, Miss Livy. You've been such a pleasure to work with. I think this show was really, really well curated. Your insight alone in this call has been really insightful, and I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to work with you. I hope that maybe sometime in the future our paths will cross again and we'll work together in another capacity. So I just want to say thank you again for your time. And yeah, that concludes our juror talk for today, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it, and I hope to see you stop in the gallery sometime.